What a beautiful day. Everything is pumping. But the question is, can we trust this pump? This is the question that I am asking here on the channel, and many of you probably asking yourself for a while now. Can we trust this pump? Okay, so I am going to go through everything. Of course, we are going to cover Kaspa short time frame, and we are going to cover different charts, right? Because I believe that we are at the verge of actual altcoin season. Okay, can we see a little bit of a pullback? Well, let's see in today's show. Guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Luke. Remember that this video is not financial advice. Let's get the party started. So you see what's going on daily, okay? But that potentially could be something that I've been talking about, right? Big shout out to Mr. Colin, by the way. He's pointing out that now apparently we could possibly be in this mini rally that fails, right? Question mark, because obviously we still don't know. But as you can see, guys, this is what's happening, right? BTC is following global money supply, 83% or whatever of correlation. Nonetheless, it's quite big, right? So guys, we could potentially have another last shakeout, right, before we are going to, you know, enter that continuation for Bitcoin cycle and of course for altcoin season, right? Of course, the chart of Kaspa is looking juicy at the moment. However, we could see a little bit of a pain, right? Well, first of all, let me pull vertical line. You see, guys, that with this candle we had huge greed, right? That greed again is being sold. That's your 1 hourly. Now 4 hourly time frame, you see that even on 4 hourly we are already entering into fear, right? That greed got sold very, very quickly on Kaspa, right? So we've got two confirmations, let's say, in here. That's obviously our short time frame, but I'm going to get into longer time frame a little bit later. So we've got that, and obviously we also have fear and greed that it's signaling that we are entering fear on 4 hourly, of course, right? So now daily time frame, which is also important, right? But guys, we haven't even, you know, went into weekly, and I haven't even shown you another chart, and we see that every single timeline, 1 hourly, 4 hourly, and daily, at least on my trading view, is overheated in stochastic RSI, and it is in here for a while now. So the question is, are we going to see the pullback? Well, this current candle is showing us that we've got some selling pressure for Kaspa, right? I believe that next level of support, well, I believe already have marked this level of support in here, which is at 0.07. We definitely could retest this, right? I'm saying definitely could retest, right? Apologies if I'm not clear. We possibly might retest this level, right? 4% if that is going to happen, right? However, we are going to look at liquidity levels, and we are going to clarify what is going on. But before that, let's actually have a look at Kaspa's dashboard, right? So from the standpoint of daily gain, let's say, we are sitting at 3.3%, and market cap is sitting at 2.1 billion USD. Volume is sitting at 32.8 mil, and if it comes to Kaspa being mined, we are sitting at 90.28, right? So things are going towards the upside, at least if it comes to that. And now, guys, to actually have a look again, Monday actually had no update, right? So to kind of conclude and clarify one more time, 1 2 3 4 5 6 days of positive inflows, which are obviously very, very juicy, right? So the question is, guys, is this the beginning of the positivity, looking at ETFs and looking at overall market at the moment? Well, let's first of all have a look at Bitcoin's dominance, right? Because we are waiting for this thing to go towards the downside, right? One good thing on a daily is this: we are in a downtrend right now. I have actually drawn it on 4 hourly. So you see, guys, that this trend line that was actually initiated on 12th of March is actually well, never been broken towards the upside. So that's bullish for altcoins, right? And now we've got another 4 hourly that's going towards the downside. So Bitcoin dominance could be you know, showing us some signs of weakness, which is obviously great. I would like to remind to everybody that stochastic RSI on a weekly, whoopsie doopsie, let me just move it. Stochastic RSI on a weekly is just about to enter into bullish territory, bullish cross, right? So that's great. And also USDT dominance, right? We've got another week, third week of negativity for USDT dominance, which obviously is great thing because we are well experiencing that shift from USDT towards altcoins that hopefully you have purchased, right? This way you can change it for USDT if you are going to sell it, of course. Anyways, guys, what's happening on the daily, right? We have lost this level of a support, let's say, if we could call it even support. Most importantly, we are basically in a downtrend, similar like with Bitcoin's dominance, right? So that's very bullish. And of course, guys, on a weekly, I would like to show to you that we are in well, overheated, not even overheated level. We have actually went into that bearish cross on USDT dominance a while ago, right? So we could be on the verge of something significant in here. And by the way, guys, if you want to secure your crypto outside of exchanges, your Kaspa, your Bitcoin, Solana, whatever it is that you hold, make sure that you check out Tangem Wallet, because Tangem Wallet allows you to store your crypto outside of exchanges on which anything might happen at this point. And most importantly, you can exchange your crypto for USDT in Tangem app, which is actually a great thing. You don't have to send crypto back to exchanges. You can just hold it on your wallet, basically, right? With my discount code, you can get minus 10% off crypto space, and you can find the link below this video. Now, guys, let's have a look at liquidity, which is very, very important. Okay, so Binance, first of all, for BTC, Binance daily, we see that after this pump, by the way, this pump I believe was caused due to the fact of what they were talking about regarding gold reserves, Bitcoin, USA, blah blah blah, right? So people got excited, right? Everybody is longing now. On average, you've got 10x leverage, and we've got around $1 billion. And you see how many people, or actually how not many people, are shorting at the moment, right? So we have more people that are longing at the moment on a daily for BTC, and on 7 daily perspective on basically 3 exchanges, Binance, OKX and Bybit, we see that much more people are longing, right? So these situations are a little bit scary because that's a lot of liquidity that's currently laying below us, right? So this is where my second area of confluence, well, besides of course support, resistance, stochastic RSI, is coming in, right? We've got liquidity, and we also have money to supply, right, that Colin was mentioning about, right? So the question is, are we going to sweep this liquidity in here for BTC, go to let's say 83, shake everyone out, and then parabolic stage, because that liquidity is yet to arrive, let's say, or actually already did, right? But there is obviously delay between BTC and money to supply, right? So that's the question. But if that's going to happen, the question is what's going to happen to Kaspa, right? Because everybody obviously cares about our beloved Kaspa, right? So Binance Kaspa perpetual on a daily, right? Well, looking at this, we could say that long and short ratio is quite all right. However, we see what's happening here on 7 daily outlook on 2 exchanges, Binance and Bybit, is that more people all of a sudden went into longs for Kaspa because they saw Kaspa pumping. Actually, this is not Kaspa's chart. Let me go back. Kaspa's chart is going to be here, right? So they saw Kaspa pumping, and now everybody's longing, right? So let's have a look at the liquidity heat map for our beloved Kaspa, and let's see, right? That's actually Ondo. I've been taking some profits from Ondo. Anyways, guys, let's go to Kaspa and let's go to Binance, right? Of course, you can play with this website. There are different exchanges, right? It all depends where you trade. So we could see some wick, right? We could see some wick that's going to grab that leverage in here at 0.08, right? But notice how we also have at 0.75, right? Something that I was mentioning about earlier, that level of support, right? At the moment, let's forget about 6.5, okay? There is still liquidity there, of course, but let's see how BTC is going to behave, right? Because at the moment, we cannot really jump into conclusion saying that Kaspa is still going to go there. Well, at least for me, we just have to wait for BTC, right? But noticed how this liquidity could be flushed, but it wasn't, right? I believe that momentum could be built once this liquidity at lower levels, 0.07, is going to be grabbed. But again, it all depends on what will happen with BTC. That's your weekly scenario in here for our beloved Kaspa. And now, guys, obviously that's short time frame trading, let's say. And now the question is, are we finally sitting on a verge of something legendary for altcoins? Well, let's have a look at others dominance, right? So others dominance, let me actually zoom this out to weekly. others is everything excluding top 10, right? I hope that you guys remember. And we have basically fell off this triangle, right? This descending triangle, which hopefully is going to, you know, become bullish one day. So the good thing is that the dominance flipped bullish on stochastic RSI, which could be a good sign, right? But you see, it's basically kind of like indecision, right? I would say that we are still in Bitcoin's season cycle. Bitcoin obviously has a lot of dominance, right? But I think that this was our bottom, right? Once we are going to come back to, let's say, this range in here above this line, that's going to be definitely much more bullish, right? But if we are going to look at the history, ladies and gents, if I'm going to point in here, for instance, where we have get off that triangle and we have retested this level as a support, we basically saw a huge rally, right? So the question is, can we see some relief rally now for altcoins? Well, this is a definitely great question. Ladies and gents, I believe that altcoin season is yet to come. When exactly? Nobody really knows. If somebody tells you, they most likely lie. Remember that this video is not financial advice, and subscribe to the channel if you find any value in it. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, peace and love, crypto.